Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Tuesday, June 28th, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, we'll be doing a quick little recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, and then talking about my core picks for today for the FanDuel main slate. Is a 14-game main slate overall. Then after that, we'll be going over to my article over at WeBetATS.com and talking about my top GPP Stacks for the FanDuel main slate as well. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. At the pitcher position, we have Martin Perez, $9,700. He got the 30 points, so he ended up being a push yesterday. Did not pitch quite as well as we expected. As I mentioned yesterday in the video, he had a little bit of hit or miss history versus Kansas City, and that kind of showed yesterday, unfortunately. But still 30 points, not a bad play by any means. Then at second base, we had Andres Jimenez at $2,600. Got to 3 points, so he was a push yesterday. Not anybody that helped us, but not anybody that completely killed us either. At shortstop, we had Carlos Correa at $3,200. Got to 22.2 points, so he was ahead in the third overall shortstop on yesterday's slate. Our first outfielder that we did have was Steven Kwan, $2,400. Got to 6 points yesterday, so he was a push. We're kind of looking for that 9 to 10 points out of him. If we got that, we would have been really happy, but 6 points definitely not bad from a pay down spot. And then last but not least, we had Giancarlo Stanton at $3,500. Got to 28.4 points. He was a hit and the top overall outfielder on yesterday's slate. But with that being said, yesterday's core picks, a little bit of hit or miss here. Obviously, if you had some other great plays, you had a very good chance of doing well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to today's core picks. So we're going to start off at the pitcher position with John Gray at $8,800. Guy that's been pitching relatively well as of late. Goes against Kansas City today. Obviously, we're playing that Texas pitcher against Kansas City again. Didn't turn out quite the best yesterday, but wasn't a bad play by any means. John Gray offers a little bit more upside in terms of strikeouts than Martin Perez does, but definitely interested in John Gray today. He has some pretty limited but decent history versus these Kansas City hitters as well. And then we're going to move down to second base with Jose Altuve at $3,500, averaging just over 12 fantasy points per game on the season. $3,500 is a pretty good price tag for the output that he's been producing. He's 10 for 27 with one home run versus Carlos Carrasco in his career, and he's been hitting the ball pretty well as of late. Then we move down to third baseman Josh Donaldson, $2,600, averaging about 8.5 fantasy points per game on this season. Goes against the Oakland A's and Frankie Montas today, and he is 4 for 7 with 3 home runs versus Frankie Montas, so definitely offering a lot of upside here. Pretty pay down spot as well at $2,600. Then we're going to move down to the outfield with Dylan Carlson, also $2,600, going against the Miami Marlins today. And Braxton Garrett's pitching today for the Miami Marlins. Very small sample size versus him, but he's 2 for 3. And Dylan Carlson has been hitting the ball very, very well as of late. So definitely a ton of interest in him, averaging just over 8 fantasy points per game on the season. Then last but not least, we are moving down to Mr. Yordan Alvarez at $4,000, averaging just under 14 fantasy points per game. That's pretty dang good if you ask me, but going against Carlos Carrasco today, he's 2 for 2 versus him in his career with 2 home runs. That happened the last time out. So definitely offers a lot of upside today. I'm not saying he's going to go like 4 for 4 with 4 home runs, but there's a good chance that he has some pretty good success versus Carlos Carrasco once again today. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $13,500 remaining. Just over $3,300 per player, just under $3,400 per player. So definitely a little bit of room of flexibility here. If you want to pay up in one of these positions, you can definitely do that. Or if you want to go with a little bit more balanced approach, this is definitely viable on today's slate as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet over at WeBetATS.com and talk about my top GPP stacks for today. So the first one that I do have is the Chicago White Sox. I'm not quite sure any of the White Sox players individually made it into my sheet, but I have some interest in them. They're going against Chase Sillside of the Angels today. Called back up from the minors, I believe, earlier today or yesterday. Not the greatest pitcher in the world. Obviously, they do not have any history versus him since he's only made a couple starts in his young career. Then we have the Houston Astros. Already talked about them with Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez, but definitely a great team to stack versus Carlos Carrasco today. They hit him around pretty well last time out, but knowing Carlos Carrasco, he's probably going to come out and pitch like a 3-hitter now just because he doesn't make sense half the time. So like one start he'll pitch really bad, then the next one he'll be pretty awesome. That's kind of how it's been throughout his career and part of the season as well. But definitely have some interest in these Astros hitters once again. And then we had the Texas Rangers going against Jonathan Haseley of the Kansas City Royals. Very limited history versus him. His first career start was actually against the Rangers. Gave him about 4 hits and 3 innings in that game. So I definitely have some interest in these Rangers hitters today. Could be a very good game for them once again. And they did score a lot of runs yesterday off Chris Bubich. And then lastly, I have the Dodgers going against Kyle Freeland. They've hit him around pretty well in his career. This game's also in Coors Field, so you do have that upside there as well. But with that being said, these are my core picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, June 28th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on today's slate, whether it's someone from my core picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks, or whether it's a completely different player you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you have to say. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Mainly focusing on MLB DFS at this point in time, but once we get back around to the NFL and NBA regular seasons, I will be covering those two sports as well. And then with that being said, if you are new or current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.